nothing wrong with finding a Syrian girl. There's new unity. And the fight him out to eat a feel out. Let me take a little jump in the back canal. A chook and a wine in the carnival. Bitching and eating, bumping and down. Sorry, crap, I rise up with shiny gal. Now it is a trip down the water speed. Make a little stop by the textile king. But you bring us to with plenty secret. Cause if we love, we jumping. And that is real unity. You see? Get down to the meat of the matter. I want to say tonight, before I go any further, I want to say a big shout out to the miracle workers in the Progressive Empowerment Party. We've built a political movement so strong, so powerful, that it is worthy of constant attack, a media blackout, misrepresentation. The Bible said it was stone barren trees. I ain't looking to pat myself on my chest, but I want to say Anthony Sinanan, Felicia Holder, Michelle Davis, Akil Camps, Andulal, Debbie Lee Jaikaran, Anthony Henry, Denise Ave, Glenn Robinson, Hadassah Charles McLeod, Ian Anthony Griffith, Joan Sinanan, Kaifa Michael Modest, Keisha Simone, Kendall Baggy, Kenneth Luke, Kezia Rampol, Lima McLeod Wilkinson, Matthew Gibbs, Maurice Downs, Maya Khan, Maze Ali, Sasha Ali, Melissa Sarah Rupan, Natalia Moore, Rose Fong Chong, Sals, Jagisar Saladin, Satish Ramsaran, Shari Wilson, Sean Sunarayan, Usha Debedin, Zeda Mohammed James. Did I say Lima? Because I'm not seeing Lima in this list, and I need to make sure that Lima is on this list. I was trying to make a list of all the people critical to the development of this party. Yes, she is there. Sorry, I don't know how come I didn't see her name. On January 17th, 2017, all the work that Harry Hunt, Ian Griffith, and Ann Dulal and myself had done, creating a political party, had come to fruition, and it was launching the next day. The next day was January 18th, 2017. But on January 17, 2017, our first shipment of PEP t-shirts came to Trinidad, and Kaifa Michael Modest and myself spent the better part, you know, it is a clear shipment in Trinidad and get through. So we spent the better part of that day, and I celebrated, because that was my birthday also, and I celebrated my birthday eating kiss cake and drinking Ramsaran peanut punch, waiting on customs to clear that shipment of t-shirts, while sitting inside there, Kaifa and I coordinating banners and tables and chairs deliveries and all of those things that were important to the launch of the Progressive Empowerment Party. And wow, January 18th, they were stringing the lights over the courtyard at 19 Stanmore Avenue, Robert Amar lent us a lectern that is still PEP's lectern. We put up our first PEP banner on the entrance wall and opened the gate. We rented 200 chairs thinking this is the launch of a new political party, but experience told me that Trinidadians didn't take themselves or their politics that seriously, and we should have erred on the side of caution, because by about 7:30 that night, all the chairs were filled, and there were people all along the side of the building and people on the staircase of the building, and there were people outside on the pavement and people in the street and people across the street, and it was a fantastic turnout. And well, a lot of the responsibility fell to me, and the organization part of me kicked in, and I was focused on getting things done. Before I was going to be the last person to speak as a feature speaker, and Lima McLeod Wilkinson was the first speaker that spoke on behalf of the Progressive Empowerment Party. She is a deputy political leader. She's been with us from the very start. Ian Griffith, Harry Hunt, Amri Dulal, who were the founders, who used to meet with me once and twice a week for months until we decided to go ahead with the party, and then we would meet daily. They are still functioning lifeblood members of this party. And I'm saying these things because I'm coming to a point about other political parties that I'm not missing this point. But Lima, and to watch Lima grow and blossom into what is going to be a candidate for the next elections. And I would be proud to serve in Parliament with Lima McLeod Wilkinson as a member of Parliament. And the moment that you put trust in her, because she is a public servant, she is a young mother of 3 or 4 beautiful children. I'm trying to remember if it's 3 girls or 2 girls and a boy. I think it's 3 children. She is a mother of a beautiful family. There have been meetings over these 4 years, and we've had lots of meetings. And Lima would come with her kids, because there's nowhere for her to leave them. She's not leaving them nowhere. And she'd come with her kids, and her kids became part of the family, like Shari Wilson and all her extended families and all her kids and stuff. They became part of, and everybody's kids became part of the PEP family. But I still focus on Lima for a minute here, because the past couple months she was given more responsibilities. She was made co-chair of the Women's Arm, and she took up that responsibility with a fervor and has given life to that, because we're growing a party. And I want you to understand, a political party doesn't come in a kit. You don't get a booklet. It doesn't tell you how to make a political party. You learn as you go. You learn everything. You learn EBC rules. You learn how the system works. You learn Ministry of Legal Affairs rules. You learn who's the best people in your party for what post. People come through that door and you meet them for the first time. And you have to take people on face value. And you have to work with them and grow them into the party, and put them in positions in the party that would best serve the party. Satish just sent me, Satish Ramsar, the head of PEP Media, does not stop. Satish just sent me the YouTube link, and he didn't just send me, I just realized he sent me, and I'm late to send it. I apologize. I have 4 links to click on to just get this out to everybody, so apologies for being distracted. But Lima's presentation that night, she was shaky and she was nervous. This was the first time she was speaking to a crowd that size. And over the years, she has become such a force of political nature. I see her on the ground in Belmont, in her constituency, where she lives, and I see the way she champions these issues. She goes in every little side street and every track, and it's never too much to ask this girl. And she's also just taken up responsibility for guiding the party's labor position where negotiations with public servants are concerned. She is very well versed in that, and I'm telling you, I hats off to Lima. She is a stalwart of this party. Felicia Holder, chairman. We met Felicia Holder that night. After I spoke, we had an open mic. And Felicia Holder, who we didn't know then, walked up to the mic, but she was there from day one. And we didn't know that. And she walked up to the mic, and she made a contribution that got a rousing round of applause. And people asked her questions. And as a young woman, she was speaking from that position. And the next day, because we had filled out everybody's, we had a team signing up members, and we had, and I trying to remember, I tracked down her number, and I called her, or I messaged her, trying to remember, to tell her, you had to be in this party. And she told me she's not in politics. She's not involved in politics. She liked what we're doing, and we have her support. And that she was going away, and she went on vacation. And I literally harassed her soul. And she came back, and she didn't come to the first meeting when she was back. She came to the second meeting when she was back. And she asked me, when she saw, because I told her we meet every Saturday. That was the plan. From the moment we launched the party, we meet every Saturday, and we were going to meet every Saturday. We gave ourselves a mandate as a political party, not just to win the election. That was a given. You don't form a political party if you have no intention of contesting and winning an election. So that was a given. But we gave ourselves a mandate to inform, educate, and empower Trinidad and Tobago. And when she came to the meeting, I think she liked what she saw. She came to another meeting. She asked me, and she made a presentation in the other meeting and spoke about organization and structure and stuff. And I asked her, I said, the party needs a chairman. Would you be interested? Because that's how we worked, you know. Janice Lemon Creaky, when Janice came in, I mean, Janice is somebody, she speaks with confidence and knowledge, and we needed somebody in charge of women's arm. We put Janice there, but that didn't fit. And then the opportunity came to make somebody PRO, and we put Janice, and Janice was a perfect fit as PRO. And I used to love when Janice would go on shows and talk on behalf of PP or Felicia, any woman, but Janice, my mother would call me on the phone and say, I love that PRO, you know. I love how she speaks. She speaks like a real leader of a party, that you make sure that she, and it is to our loss that she can't stand up and speak on behalf of the party now, but she is still there and still helping us in any way that she could, as is her constitutional right. And I just wanted to highlight a couple of people who, now, it's not like you're going to get it right 100% of the time. I watched that show with Michael Jordan. And when Michael said he just wanted to hit 50% of the shots that he threw, you know. And I understood that. And I understood that because you and me as leader, having never done this before, I tell people all the time, I'm not a trained politician. This is not what I've set out to do with my life. So thank God for the leadership team. I went to do a one-man protest. The first time I did a one-man protest outside the Prime Minister's office, Trinidad was still scared. Trinidad was still afraid. A fella called Jagroup, I want out him. Over that, Jagroup came to look for me, to ask me, you need anything, you want anything? Because people thought I was going to get myself in trouble, you know, to go and do this one-man protest outside the Prime Minister's office, because this government. The second time I went to do a one-man protest, I met Sean Sunarine. And Sean Sunarine and we spoke for a while. He came from far. But he knew that I was doing this protest, and he just wanted to lend me support. Not to protest, not to do anything, just like lend me support. And I really appreciated that. We spoke a lot. And then he started coming to meetings, and I was trying so hard to find a position for Sean, because For a while, Shari was the head of finance before we made her party organizer, and she just shined as party organizer. The person who was there before failed at the job, and Shari just beat the whole party into a structure. So when Sean Sunarine took up the role of deputy chair in this party, no position is without responsibility. So when you take a position in the Progressive Empowerment Party, you take a position and it's not like you are holding on if somebody else leaves. The only person who had a position in this party that never had a responsibility in the party was Tony. Because when Tony was given a responsibility, given a position of deputy political leader, he had a lot of problems, a lot of personal problems, and we have to understand that. But he would make himself available for shows or to do walkabouts and stuff, and that had to work for us. And we were okay with that. But Sean Sunarine, when he took up the role of deputy chair, we were able to consolidate Michelle Davis, who a lot of you know from the morning show, Pep Talks in the Morning. Michelle is so amazing to listen to. She is a critical thinker extraordinaire. Now our mobilization team is Sean Sunarine, Michelle Davis, Shari Wilson, and Glenn Robinson when Glenn is available. He's still taking baby steps in the leadership, but he is a very well-organized guy. And the team that runs the party, Satish was handling finance. And when we say handling finance, Satish was just staying back at the end of every meeting and balancing all the books and telling us this how much money we have and this how much money came in today. And when we say how much money, we're always talking small money, but there was still somebody needed to do that. And then Felicia took up the role and she took over finance because finance was given. Carol Hannibal, I don't know who you're talking to when you say don't need to talk about that. I want to give everybody all the information about this party because we're very open and very transparent. Satish was moved to Pep Media when we created Pep Media, and we just put the idea of Pep Media in Satish's hands, and a guy named Baxter Cuthbert, based overseas, reached out to Satish and he said he want to help us set up. And everything that we did as Pep Media, I mean, I was in the loop and I was in the conversation, but Satish took it from there and ran with it, and I mean, the rest is history. We wanted to make Satish deputy political leader a while back, and we wanted to make that as an announcement, so it would have been Lima, Tony, and Satish. But we told Satish, you deserve the position deputy political leader, but we were holding out to see what we were doing in Tobago, because we wanted deputy political leaders to have a role and a responsibility as well. And we wanted to give Tobago the respect of having a deputy political leader from Tobago. So when we knew that Tony was leaving, we elevated Satish to deputy political leader right away so that we wouldn't have any gaps. And we still have one space left to appoint a deputy political leader from Tobago. And Glenn Robinson has been doing work in Tobago, working with the team. Because again, I want to tell you, look around and see. Every political party that has ever been launched in this country was a spin-off of another political party. The first real, big, deliberate, separate political party is the Progressive Empowerment Party. The Progressive Empowerment Party is an all-volunteer political movement. We stand for very serious things, and we will not deviate from them. And some people join this party in love with the courage and the vision. But if something runs afoul with them, if they don't have commitment to country as the motive for joining the party and getting involved to serve, it'll break. And we've lost people. But every party loses people. I remember when the NAR lost Kamala Prasad Bissessar. She went and joined Pandey's fledgling UNC. And when the COP lost Anna and Ram Logan to the UNC, and look, yesterday the UNC lost Tim Gopi Singh. People leave parties. Deputy political leader of the PNM, Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson, left the PNM. Attorney General and Deputy political leader Carl Hudson Phillips left the PNM. But they went to form parties based on coming out from another party doing this, because there was that other party, I keep forgetting their name and people will remind me again, Spatch or Switch, and they spoffed or something. They were going to form, and I watched them form because the reason I was watching them is millionaires was back in that party and they had a lot of money. And they were supposed to launch, and they misfired 3 times. And Kirk Waite and Fixing TNT have a big brand. But Kirk Waite couldn't form a party. Couldn't. He formed a party a month before the elections. You know there's a pelter stone. There's a link up. That's not a real political party. A real political party takes a lot of work, a lot of people, a lot of effort. We lost control of a team in Canada, and Anthony and Joan Sinanan stood up packed. They're just not enough of a thing to make me remember. That pack failed. Joan and Anthony Sinanan took control of the Canada team. Again, when the right people touch something, it stops being a responsibility for me and for us in the leadership. And when it stopped being a responsibility for us, we then, every time the right person takes a chunk of our responsibility, the party grows. The party grows because those of us who were touching that, who were making time for that, we no longer have to touch that. Denise Xavier did the same thing in New York City. When you get somebody who finally takes control and they see the vision, they get it, they come on board at the level of leadership, they part of the family, and they say, I've taken this and I go on. You see, we will have arguments and fights and disagreements. Come on, I mean, the PNM in opposition, a Syrian group came inside there and threw desks all in the yard, done a cock slap councillor. All kind of bacchanals happen. This is people put in all of their energy and all of their effort into something. There'll always be disagreements. Oliver has always been around. The people who take responsibilities, and this political party, Maya Khan and her responsibility with social media and our frames and a lot of stuff that she works on. She works with Kendall Baggy. A guy named Kendall Baggy that does our graphics. Kendall is not based in Trinidad, but Kendall is a one-man wrecking crew. We came up with an idea to do the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire series of spoofs, just to lighten the conversation, because the conversation has gotten very heavy with coronavirus and now poor George Floyd and everything that it spawned from that, and the overnight militancy of the Black Lives Movement and all the drama that causing. So we wanted to do something light, and I spoke to Kendall about it, and in 2 hours, whole thing done. Organized, fixed, and gone. Viral. As called Satish, I said, I'm going to do a video. I head into a river, I head in the bush, I head in by this site, I'm going on this highway. He said, let me know when you're there. Give me 3 minutes. Just give me a 3 minutes heads up. The back-end support that I get, I don't even know how much money we have and how much bills we have. The finance team, because it's a huge team of them now, Usha Gabedin and Giselle Jordan Young, and unimpeachable people. Our finance in this party is so transparent. It's so, we can account, they could account for every cent. So now I do the begging and I forward them to the finance team. It doesn't come near me. Pep Media doesn't come near me. Graphics, now that Kendall exists, I say, Kendall, this is the idea. Kendall sent back 3 options one time, you know. And he so understands the vision. You see the level of work Pep puts out. I mean, we are the smallest, the newest, I don't say the smallest, we are the newest of the big parties. And we lead the conversation. It's simple things, but it's real things. Last night, Kamla Prasad Bisesa tried to steal another Pep policy. She used the words Army and Homeland Security, and people laughed at her. They laughed at her. They said, Phillip is talking that 4 years now, Kamla. Come original. Don't pilfer and plagiarize. But I understand that party. Because when I told Catherine Stallmeyer White in Hilo West Mall about an idea that I wanted to discuss with Winston Dukaran called RISE, R-I-S-E. And that was way back in 2009. And the idea in 2009, that's 11 years ago. RISE was a whole idea about twinning. Twinning, because when we investigated, I don't want to get sidetracked with this, we investigated and we found that children in the at-risk communities don't have the same level of support that children in the middle class and affluent communities get. And we were saying that the things that a child is entitled to, extracurricular activities, homework, supervision, if those things exist, if jobs exist for father and mother and stabilized rent and proper career paths, if you could identify the important things in a community, things that go to make up a life. Forget your boat and down the islands and your magrims. I'm talking about the important things, that the lights are on, the food on the table, the children safe and secure, the income that pays the bills coming in, and the family is growing forward. We said we would create a plan that would twin Beetham with Westmoreland, Laventille with Valsay, twin them to say that there are conditions that people benefit from in these constituencies, that if we could raise the level, if we gave them a target, if we gave the councillors, the MPs, everybody in public service, if we gave everybody a goal to hit, if we said, let's get Beetham families to the level of Westmoreland's families, not in equity, but in things that are family, transportation. Transportation is important. If you could get up at 7 o'clock, bathe, dress, grab breakfast, bounce your starter, and you're in work by 9 o'clock, but somebody else have to get up 3 o'clock because transportation is a problem, then you have an unnecessary advantage. They have an unnecessary retardation, and we needed to fix those things and bring everybody into something like balance. And that is why the Progressive Empowerment Party have all these policies, because it's 20 years of work. So when Kamla teeth it in at night, it hurts, because Kamla don't know. And when Kamla said on her meeting that the sun kills coronavirus, the country laughed at her and she didn't know how to defend it. So she looked like a fool. It's like Rowley. When I realized Rowley and crew teething Pep words and Pep ideas, I set a trap. I told them in a meeting, let the people come home and pay for their own quarantine. And I knew how that would go down. And Rowley announced that. Rowley announced they would pay for their quarantine. And people are asking, you must be a madman. These are taxpayers. You can't do that to people. You look like a fool. You look like a fool. I will set more traps for them. They're not bright, you know. They're not bright. That's why channels like this. Kamla and Rowley not bright. They know how to negotiate with bandits. They know how to organize kickback government. They know corruption. That they know. 58 years of banditry. And I don't care if when you see Kamla, you see Mommy, and you want to bury your face in she neck. I know what politics for. Go and find your own Mommy. Your own outside there waiting for a kiss and a hug too. Kamla's supposed to serve. Kamla's supposed to walk, not pose and stunt and fool you. And thief other people ideas. That's why she can't. And have Brian Stone and Anil Roberts. But poor Anil, cocaine does make holes in your brain, you know. Weed and all them things, you just get dumb. Look at Anil. There's like a wind-up toy, and they have to come outside and say, Phillip party is, you pull a man out of the party. Brother, we will lose more, we get more. I tell people we get 12,000. What Sean tell me? Do you know that during this we get 12,000 members, new members? So what are you telling me, brother? And I didn't know, because I don't know those things anymore. I don't do mobilization. So I don't know where the mobilization numbers are. And when that was said, I was in an ecstatic shock. And I want to tell you, I just want to say this. Every political party right now in play. Gypsy leave UNC to go on PNM. Hunt, brother, go on. Because Aloy Hunt is PNM people. Gary Hunt, brother. He gone UNC. Them playing this game with one another, a thief one of yours. And all the progressive empowerment parties trying to do is find the right people. Right now, I have a member who is talented. Diamond in the rough. But he is difficult to I don't want to say control. He's difficult to deal with from a party organization point of view. And every single day I'm racking my brains because I want to use this gentleman as a candidate. But I may never be able to do that because what he needs to understand is if you win and you get into government, if you are not going there dedicated to the cause, dedicated to the mission, they say the 3 keys to success is identify the goal, visualize what is required to achieve the goal, do not deviate. A horse does not run off the tracks because a horse has on blinkers. All a horse can see is what is straight in front of him. And if you can't do that, as much as I would love to say, that is my candidate, I prefer senior UNC. Go and detonate yourself there. Go and detonate yourself in the PNM. Rowley's still trying to explain what he mean by they go pay for their own quarantine. You fall in a trap, brother. But coming back to this, building a political party is not an easy process. And God blesses you with good people if the mission right. We have structure, massive structure. We have a finance team, is more than 10 people. We have a mobilization team, is more than 10 people. Because we have hub leaders and organizers and support staff. We've actually now, this last couple months, the hardest, the people with the most responsibilities, especially because of the election here, we've been given executive assistants so that things don't fall through the cracks. Because they do. I just lost, somebody gifted us a full page ad in a newspaper and we missed the deadline. So I literally lost that. And we can't afford to lose things like that. So, and constantly people message and call and leave a voicemail message. And you know what it's like when you're busy. You pick up the phone to do one thing, you see 2 WhatsApps, and you open those 2 WhatsApps and you forget the first thing that you set out to do. And then it doesn't get done. No matter how much pen and reminders you put in your phone. People ask me, Phillip, I want you to look at the numbers, yeah? 220. If I start to cuss and carry on like a wajang, 800. People ask me, and why would 800 be more important to you than 220? Because we got an article last week in the Newsday. And the last time we got an article after that was a year, before that was a year ago. We don't get media coverage. So all the people who know Progressive Empowerment Party knows Progressive Empowerment Party mainly because of me. And they would be tempted to think that it's a one-man show because I am what they see. When I set up Plain Talk, the show, I set it up, if you remember, the studio with the big table with the 5 mics. It was always going to be me and co-hosts and guests. When I got the show on Amar's station, I took Felicia and Tony as co-hosts and made Tony my wingman. You know all of that? I've been pulling and pushing people to front. But still, I go and I do a video outside the Prime Minister's office and it gets 1 million views. Lies, more lies, damn lies and more lies. And I get 1 million views. And for a lot of those people who saw that video and saw me for the first time and what is a PEP, will think that it is a one-man party. And so our party mobilization team's job is to get people on the ground, looking for all those people and letting them know who we are. And PEP Media's job is to follow up and follow through. And now we have personal assistants. And their job is to comb through every request and answer it. If you go to any of my live videos, just scroll through. Every live video, when it ends, it has about 500 comments. That's the one on my page. There are 2 feeds. The one on my page gets a certain amount of, it gets a smaller number of overall views, but the one on my page, people ask me, why do I let the video run as long as an hour or more? I said, we do short videos. We know that 3-minute, 5-minute, 7-minute videos go viral. I do those all the time. I did one this morning about water. But this video that I did, that I started doing every night, that spawned a whole industry of people doing videos too, Ragu and this other clown. I mean, it spawned copycats, no problem. Do you do? But this video that I do at night, this hour-long plus video, before the Plain Talk went from PEP Media Studio, which was a special show for Wednesday nights, because of coronavirus and lockdown, we said we're going to do Plain Talk every night. And God bless and thank you to all the fantastic guests we've gotten. And tomorrow night we have an extra special, extra long, special edition of Plain Talk. 2 international sporting stars, 1 former PNM MP, 1 former UNC MP, a former AG, a ground activist, and we're talking, the name of the show tomorrow is Do Black Lives Matter in Trinidad and Tobago. Former AG, 2 former MPs, 1 PNM, 1 UNC, 2 international sporting heroes who are going to tell you what life was like when they didn't know that they had that chance in their future. And a current ground ghetto activist who will tell you what hotspot life really means in Trinidad and Tobago, and be prepared to be surprised and to be depressed when you hear, because Trinidadians, as Derek Gonzalez said, live in colonies in this country. We don't really live. We don't really live together. So we will pass B-Town and see a man with a BMW and say the whole of B-Town have BMW. We will pass B-Town and see somebody with a direct TV dish and say the whole of B-Town have direct TV. And that is stereotyping, and it is wrong. Because we don't hear the stories about the lady. She's a security guard. She raising her 3 children. She living in Silot. She holding her corner. She minding her family. But when rain fall, her house is galvanized on concrete. When rain fall, the rain runs through her living room. And to many people hearing that, so what? And I getting so much stick from overnight Black Life activists, and I don't want to ridicule them. I don't mind that you just suddenly found out that what was done to George Floyd is wrong. But if all of these voices were talking since Trayvon Martin and marching, George Floyd alive today, he alive today. I don't know how many Achille chambers we protected by forcing the issue of a children's authority, ramming it down the government's throat. putting 25,000 people in the street. I don't know how many we saved. But I know when that Dangerous Dog Act was passed, people stopped getting killed from pit bulls. Pit bulls sicking on people was a fashion. It was a bad boy symbol. And then a law passed that if your dog bites somebody, you pay the full bill. All of a sudden, people let go dog, you have to go and rescue dog and save dog, but it done. All the breeding mills shut down. I used to read on Facebook, people cuss me. Oh, they love pit bull. Pit bull is a gentle animal. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's an absolute loving, comforting, babysitting animal. I believe all of that. But there are people who breed them to be bad, to exaggerate their natural strengths. A pit bull has one of the highest bite force in the canine world. And I'm not getting sidetracked by that, because people tell you a chihuahua could kill it, I'm sure. But pit bulls were, and not all were pit bulls, but the message was clear. The message was clear. You have responsibility for your dog. So it's no longer just a thing. Michael Merrin asked, what about Brad Boyce? I don't know what you mean about that, Michael. Take that up with... Saran Joseph is a friend of mine. And Saran Joseph was in a relationship, and she talked to me, and I hope she don't cuss me for sharing her information, because she told me what the family, that Johnson family, went through. And I know Patrice Clark. I know Patrice, and I know Sean Boyce, and Sean has cussed me on Facebook now because, I mean, it's fashionable for all sides to get vexed if you talk the truth. But nobody knows what went on. How did Brad Boyce come to have what he had, and how they come to fight, and all that drama? Michael Merrin, you're correct. Why haven't you marched for Jason Johnson? You knew his name, or you know Brad Boyce's name? Somebody chained you up and told you, what about Brad Boyce? The guy who died, his name was Jason Johnson. Add that now to your Black Lives Matter list and pretend that you know something. And he was killed in a club called The Edge in Long Circular Mall, where the gym is now. And The Edge was bought from the people who owned a club there before called Club Crocodile. Now Stephen and Donnie had it, because they had bought a club from me there that I built called the Power Station. Yes, Michael, you should march for Jason Johnson. It's not too late. This is a country of convenient heart-renders. I want to ask Michael, what about Sean Luke, Daniel Guerra, Amy Anna Matudo? You know those names? You know those names, Michael? I marched for them. Michael, when last you marched for somebody other than fashionable George Floyd? Because poor George, if it wasn't for that camera, and I'm talking to my friend Reese Lewis today, because Reese pissed, and Reese don't normally put out posts about things like this. And I say, you know what's sad? That if that person, Danara, or what her name is, didn't film that, the world would have just heard that, the world wouldn't have heard. His family would have heard that he was killed. He died resisting arrest. If you march for Sean Luke, Michael, I organized the march. The Jericho Project and the Justice for Children March, 26 years running. Christopher Phillip, good question. And I asked, why wasn't the CEO of the Northwest Regional Health Authority fired over Christopher Phillips? But today the uncle of the chair of the PEP youth arm, an elderly gentleman, her uncle, she called me, she wanted to know what to do. He committed suicide. He jumped off the top of Mount Hope today. Tears has come close to us, all of us, and you need to know how to deal with it. But I've been raising my voice against the public health system for a long time, and he died because of his treatment in the public health system. And I look around Michael Merrin, and I look around for people like you to raise your hand when we say we're marching for justice for children. I'm there. I don't want to get sidetracked. Because it's easy for people to chain up one another and tell talk for you. I know that guy. My memory long. And as Chalky say, I in town long time. I in town too long. The Progressive Empowerment Party exists for a better country. We chose orange as our color because red and yellow, when you mix them, you get orange. And we said we'd build a bridge to the races who are trapped in voting race. UNC can't vote PNM and PNM can't vote UNC. Both of them could vote PEP because we are devoid of racial issues in this party. No matter how the dirty and stink PNM, because they're real good, as Anne-Marie Dulal says, the PNM very good at bringing the noise. That's what the money is for. Bring the noise. The PNM could actually convince you that the wrong that they're doing, you do it. But again, wrong man, wrong party. And we've demonstrated ourselves committed to this course of action. We've never deviated. We've been focused no matter the challenge, no matter the attack, and they've been non-stop. A guy came on my wall today and he wanted to attack me because I'm saying, end the militancy, let all of us come together. And I want to say this to Trinidad and Tobago and to the world. Martin Luther King understood, and what made Martin Luther King? Plenty of people don't know this, you know. Rosa Parks wasn't the first person to refuse to get up from her seat. She wasn't the first one. It wasn't organic. It was planned. But the first person who was supposed to do it, who was supposed to be not getting up from her seat, got pregnant for her pastor. So Rosa was pushed to front, and Rosa did it. The human rights movement was a long fight. And Martin Luther King, what he brought to the conversation was inclusion. The reason Michael Jordan wasn't just the greatest basketball player, and he wasn't the greatest black athlete. Michael Jordan was the greatest athlete of any kind for all time. And he was loved by everybody. He transcended color. And it didn't matter to him. I hear people buff Michael Jordan for not being political. And I wonder if Michael Jordan had ever become militant, if it would have cost him. And I am saying, there is a real fight everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world there is injustice and death everywhere in the world, and all of it is wrong. And every house that is on fire deserves attention. But when we separate, and I want to say, and I'm not throwing Diane Hunt under the bus, but Diane Hunt, two brothers, political. They're political. But you see Michelle Sohan in Bakery Treats, that little person, every time for decades that I am doing anything that is anything to do with feeding the homeless or the orphans or anything, I get a message from Michelle. Send somebody to pick up all of these packages. And she don't ask me, and she don't plan with me, and she don't ask for Bakery Treats to get mentioned or mileage. And she's been doing this quiet. And every time you've ever come to a Jericho project or Progressive Empowerment Party, feeding of the homeless or a party for the orphans or any of the things that we did, and you saw cakes and pastries, Michelle Sohan did that. And I know that I am not the only person she does that for. So when Michelle Sohan, and I say to people, Trinidad is not America, although a lot of people would like to pretend we are. Trinidad is not America. The movement here is a total bandwagon movement. It's a bandwagon movement. Because if you're not marching for the four bodies that they find on the side of the road in Mousica, if you ain't march for that pretty black police officer, I keep forgetting her name, but the woman was gorgeous. I couldn't believe that they had to find her dead body in sea lots in the sea. But if you didn't march for her, if you didn't march for Shannon Banfield, I mean, you can't just decide that all of a sudden this is your trigger and that everybody who don't see it exactly the way you see it is your enemy and you're organizing boycott lists. That's bullshit. Nobody in Trinidad right now should be on anybody. Yes, Gerard Aboud talk a pack of ass. Anybody who knows Gerard Aboud will tell you his job is to be George Aboud, rich son, and talk a bag of ass. I tell you that, right? I tell you that. You know what Gerard Aboud did also? Not me to save him, and my son will cuss me for this, because I am the one who's put every rich person who full of shit in their place. And somebody named Beckles came on my wall today. She said, I sending mixed signals. I said, babe, that's how the truth works. Not everything is wrong with you. There are things right with you. Gerard Aboud created in this country because he went out with Jericho Project about a decade ago. He went out with us because Tara Dial, who is the current chairman of the Jericho Project, is a living angel. And Tara took all of us, Valencia squatters, North Coast. Jericho Project has families. We've grown children up. Jericho Project has families that we've worked with. And I was there when Gerald Aboud came along for one of the rides. And you blink twice a couple of weeks later and you find out that he organized a kind of habitat for humanity in Trinidad for people who needed housing and was raising money and matching money. Quiet. You ain't hear about it. You hearing about it from me. And he could prove it. Now again, he's talking about ass. Gerald Aboud is talking about ass. He's a child of entitlement. But a lot of people who bring ghetto anger to it talk about ass too. And I'm not taking ass from nobody. Because I see this thing clear. I know this game is all politics. And any single person in Trinidad and Tobago, anybody who tell you Black Lives Matter, if they have a PNM party card, they lie. Because it is PNM, People's National Movement, whose promises never materialize, make people never matter. PNM sell itself to black people as a black party, but every time PNM in office, it is some pink-skinned hero. Johnny O, Call the Heart, a band of Syrians now, making off with the money, going with the people money. It is the People's National Movement who rob poor people. When they budget $100 million to build Napa and it cost us $567 million in cost overruns. That is stolen money. Stolen. When Andre Montai get catch taking Clico money to buy home mortgage bank and say, oops, and put it back, there was the jail. He is billions of dollars gone from this country that could have made Mova, Beetham, Lavatel, and Sealots look like Valsane and Westmorelands. Every single person in this country is a shareholder in Trinidad and Tobago, but the government you voted into office, kicking you in your face, distracting you with bullshit, robbing you of your money and giving it and sharing it with your friends and family. And I am saying that raw. And I know plenty of these people who want to big up themselves and beat up their chest and pretend that they're active, also voting for their oppressor. I will never forget Granny in Carnage. Granny have a rag and she had, oh God, they killed my granddaughter. Granny bawling in public. Rowley come to walk around. Oh God, hey, Dr. Rowley, we voted for you. I switch off. I can't blame Granny. Granny don't know and Granny didn't have a choice. So I get that. But when you have choice, don't go out of your way to find a way to kill that choice now. Don't go out your way to pretend that everybody bad. And I think that every single person who attacked Michelle Sohan in Bakery Treats for her roomy post that says, all lives matter, you all owe her an apology. And if any of you have done for poor black people what she has, keep your nastiness. But if you haven't, you owe her an apology. Because she's been fighting for all lives to matter for a long time. And if you haven't, then you're damn fast and out of place to bring American bullshit race politics here. Because I get the narrative management and I take American news in doses. I mean, I know all the benefits of living in America, but you see the politics in America is toxic. And I don't know how come everybody in America don't have cancer. I see Dana Antrobus join us here. And Dana, I don't know if Dana's a boy or a girl, but Dana reacted negatively to my post today. Just out of wind up and react. To nobody in Trinidad, to nobody is everything okay. Unless you're rich and you're wealthy. To everybody else, every day is a struggle. I have a post I'm waiting to share a while now and just things, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you are significantly closer to being homeless than you will ever be to being a billionaire. Have some class solidarity and stop glorifying your oppressors. The whole band of PNM voters need to hear that. The whole band. Thank you, Dana. But you understand the confusion, right? But the whole band need to hear that what I just read. Okay? And I want to say this, militancy not going to help us, separation not going to help us. It is separation that caused this country to become distracted and foolish while those on top have looted us. And we have to come together as one people under one flag. And we have to make, you see, out of Africa, there is something 1,000 years old called Ubuntu. And if there is a translation for Ubuntu, it is all lives matter. It is all of us or none of us. And if we could learn, and Hinduism is founded on that. We've been distracted by nonsense. Ronald Reagan said that the world will change when the Martians invade. As soon as it is something outside of this world that attacks us, we will have a reason to come together. Our collective humanity will become self-evident when you see the other as an enemy. Right now, Hutus and Tutsis murdered each other at the behest of a warlord. And he and they alone could identify the difference. And I'm talking about people were chopped to death, hacked, machetes. And we live in a world where in Mexico, drug dealers handing people from overpasses. We live in a Trinidad and Tobago where 10,000 people have been murdered. That is a percentage of our population. Let me say that again. That is a percentage of our population. 10,000 people. I'm going to have to tell you, the overwhelming majority of them have been black. And that is not acceptable. It's never been acceptable. But the PNM plays this game where they send little wind-up toys to tell if you're black, you can't talk to black people, you can't talk about black people. And that's why black people never got any leadership outside of that Balize cult that led them astray and run them off the road time and time again. HDC don't help nobody but the contractors who build a house and the politicians they splitting the money with. Powder Magazine, those properties, those apartments in Powder Magazine not worth $100,000 at today's money. And they sell for what? 800 and $1 million. Look what they build all in St. James. Charging the state 10 times the price. 10 times the price. I hear Colm quoting the ghetto complexes they're building at fairways per square foot contractor price. Ask Reginald McLean. He is a contractor that has built all them rich people's houses. Ask him, he'll tell you. Ask Vishal Maharaj. He's beyond these walls. They will tell you what the square footage to wire a house will cost, to plumb a house, walls, mortar, windows, doors, locks, lights, bulbs. Them fellas know this thing. And these numbers, they quote $600 a square foot. That is Goodwood Park. Our reality not changing. Getting chained up with other people's problems. I absolutely stand with George Floyd's family. I stand. I don't care if George Floyd, I see Candace Owen video, and she has about 300 million views. And I want to tell Candace Owen, you blasted out of place. I don't care what George Floyd had to do. Police not make to kneel on your neck and kill you. Stop that shit. You correct when you say people may be doing wrong, serious wrongdoing, and you have to find a way to deal with that, but that does not include kneeling on your neck until you're dead. And Rhys Lewis asked that question. How do you resist not just defending yourself? Your body's natural reflex to protect your vital organs when people... So any move you make, you're resisting arrest. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Resisting arrest as a law, how to go? That cannot be a charge. It is human nature to resist arrest. That can't be a charge. But plenty of people in a lot of these movements are in those movements to grind their own acts or for their own agenda. A lot of the burning and the looting had nothing to do with the actual protesters. It didn't. But even that I had to defend. Because I'm watching people, middle class people, cussing them about looting, and I say, hey, museum is Latin for come and see the shit we loot. England don't have Egyptians. America, New York City, the Louvre have Egyptian artifacts. They didn't lend them. They went there and thief it. They went and loot it. The Kuhuni diamond and the Queen crown was stolen, looted. So pump your brakes. Pump your brakes over the flat screen TV. Don't forget the good ship, Jesus, and the Middle Passage. Loot about 600 million human beings. So let me chill. And to the overly militant people who joined this movement to talk to George, you're helping nobody. You might be making yourself feel for your little 5 friends, and you're making them feel what she does, what he, oh God, they're conscious. Bless up. Bullshit. Because you're doing fat all for anybody. You ain't making a contribution, you ain't making a donation, you ain't going to spend time with elderly black people shut in and calm, nobody to talk to. You ain't going to help mothers whose husband in jail and they have 9 children to raise. You want people to help? Message me, partner, because I get it every day and we don't watch color. When people tell you this story and they have nowhere else to turn, Mr. Phillip, I would like your assistance, please. And it doesn't matter if they're from Beetham or Barrackpore. We there helping when we could. So miss me with the suddenly conscious, overly militant bullshit, because I want to tell you again, you're not helping nobody. MLK understood at the height of the equal rights movement, inclusion was going to make the difference. Watch the movie Belle. Go and watch the movie Belle. Besides the fact that it is a brilliant story and a beautiful woman acting in it, watch this story and understand that it is not the slaves that freed the slaves, but conscious people on the other side of the fence who knew that it was wrong. And it is people who knew that apartheid was wrong that fought against apartheid. We will never solve the problems that we want to solve as long as we separate. And anybody who conning you into thinking that your blackness means you should be alone and separate in your march, I want you to remember, cast your mind back to all the marches when you were alone. Because until we get, and the numbers that have CNN and BBC and Al Jazeera covering it, is all of we in it together. So people when I make their mistakes, let them make their mistakes. Don't fight up and beat up and throw out boycott lists. Because that have a way of coming back and bite you in your ass. We live in a country that have no hire lists. People with money are hiring people from Beetham and Lavantel because they don't want problems in their business. All that bullshit is going. March for that. Talk about that. Help us get to a place where we can appease that. Don't make it worse. Don't come to a fire and bring gas. How are we going? Where are we going with that? Where? A better country. Trinidad and Tobago requires all of us, we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, to come together and be one people under one flag. If we could never do that, then all the sides of the Great Divide will leave us isolated, suffering, and alone. You're talking about the burn down Black Wall Street? You ever heard about the Tuskegee Airmen? They infect people with syphilis and gonorrhea to test. But anyway.
Yeah. All right. My Trinidad and Tobago. Whoa, whoa. My Trinidad and Tobago. Keep my heart full of fire that burns so bright. Dedicated to everything that's right. Keep unity and equality in large Trinity. It's one heart, one soul, so brave, so good. We building stronger, going together. We climbing higher and we reaching further. It's one heart, one soul. Yeah. This land is my land and my legacy. Our forefathers and foremothers fought vehemently, united so that we stand independently. Celebrating our nation's first half century, with a culture so inherently in all our being. I love the way we walk and talk with rhythm and such melody. I salute my country, my Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, my Trinidad and Tobago. Keep my heart full of fire that burns so bright, dedicated to everything that's right. Keep unity and equality. Trinity, one heart, one soul, so brave, so bold, building stronger, going together, climbing higher, reaching further. We are one heart, yeah. We are mass and calypso, birthed from the womb. We are bright Chaconia flowers in full bloom. We are the speedy Gothic goat, the scarlet eye, the sinful fly. We are kings and queens and scholars. We are so fed in the night. We are food and mood and gas and food and such a breezy attitude. This longitude and latitude, I always show my gratitude. We are Trinidad and Tobago, at this island, yes, also we love it so. We are Trinidad and Tobago, and let me tell you this island, so we love it so. We are silver, bronze and a gold. We go tell the old world, loving me heart, loving me soul. Trinbago, let me tell the old world.
Dana, I know that. And that's why I call your name. Because I see how hard you work. And I am best that you and I could disagree over this. Because you and I fight in the same struggles. All of the struggles we fight in. And I do not like the divisive militancy that is making it difficult for people to help. Or to just give support. Understand that we need to get there. We need to get there. You know what I hate? You know what I cuss people for? When they see a mother crying over a dead black child and call, oh yeah, he was a good boy. What if he was a bad boy? Why you have to cuss the mother? That's us. That's us. I have stood and fought for people who, the woman who get caught with the cauliflower and the sweet drink. Go and look at who does be cussing them and pulling them down. Go and look. Go and look who does say good boy bullshit. Go and look. We need to get better than that. We better than that as a people. We better than that as a people. Trinidad and Tobago. The country that we want. All lives have to matter. There was a time Indian lives financially didn't matter. There was a time when the recalcitrant minority was abandoned. But then there was a time I mean, when you look at our whole history and see what was done to the masses that have supported these two parties, where a small handful of carpetbaggers could tell you they are the most powerful now. Where you think they get their money from? Trinidad? And how do 5,000 people do better than 500,000 people when the 5,000 people are reliant on the 500,000 people to pay tax, to labor, to consume? How is it possible? You're arguing with me. Show me the math. Whoever it is, show me the arithmetic. How it is possible for Goodwood Park to do better than Laventille Hill? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I want to say again, the militancy in America is for America. In Trinidad, our problem is that we don't know how to unite. Don't let people give you bullshit to hold and fighting down one another. Michelle Sohan, if you had organized a Black Lives Matter march in Trinidad, Michelle would have shown up with food. She's literally put her money where her mouth is. Stop the shit. Stop the overcorrection. I don't want to call people out. I don't want to tell them, show me a track record. You're suddenly conscious. It's like the people who show up in a football match when Trinidad winning. When Trinidad winning, all of a sudden the stadium, yeah, we was there from the start. But the people who were there from the start, I can tell you, is 9 people in the stadium and 8 of them come to chase the ball. We gotta stop being so. We really do need to treat that red, white, and black better. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock until 10, we have an extra long special edition, 2-hour long special edition playing talk. 2 international black sporting heroes. A former PNM MP, a former UNC MP, a former AG, and a grassroots activist from the ghetto. Tomorrow from 8 o'clock. Satish working on the image right now, the graphic to share. Let me talk some unity. Now this, again, I say, people like me who answer the call on their lives, you must be mindful and respectful. And I'm not asking you for it for me. Just saying, the example we set, people like me, all those names I called tonight, all those people who've given up time and treasure, time with family, time to make personal money, time to enrich themselves, time to go and kick ball and drink a beer. All that time they give up to fix this country. Touch not God's anointed. It's always backfire. People talk about karma. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Don't walk so heavy on the earth. Don't walk so heavy. We're fighting demons. We're fighting people who's so rich, their grandchildren will never have to work. Their grandchildren, and they're still trying to get more money. I tell you, I sit down in Tony Sabga funeral. Under the tent, they put outside Assumption. Because I was a half Syrian. I didn't think half Syrians were allowed inside the church. So I sit down under the tent outside. I went and park in country club. I jump in the shuttle and the shuttle me to the church. And I sit down under the tent. And I waited to see the angels come down. Fluff, 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 fluff. Pick up the coffin and go. Fluff, 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 fluff. But it didn't come. They didn't come. He died a billionaire. And I thought that when you work till you're dead and you take as much as you could get and you hold it, that the angels have to come for you personally. Fluff, 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 fluff. Go with the cover. No. Same worm and cockroach, same fire if they burn you. Same. And I went to see for myself, because if the angels had come, fluff, 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 I was going to start working that day non-stop. With my boots on. What is it? With my boots on till I dead. Trini people, unite. Unite. We need to unite our people. There's a song I want to play for you to go, you know. I gotta settle for this. And don't get it wrong. Look at me as divisive as I want to be.
He came from Calcutta, a stick and a bag on his shoulder, he took banana capra. So I am Patsy of India. India, the Indian worship and the slavery bind together to rest in unity. There was no more mother Africa, no more mother India, just mother Trini. My Mahuta planted sugar cane down in the Caroni plain. Ramlog and pastel percussion eye. Jahaji pie. Brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji pie. Brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji pie. That journey for I to have Zindagi. So it is a great privilege to have such unique heritage. 50% Africa, 50% India. India, I have done duty to holiday, emancipation and arrival day. Since Patel was sacked me that journey, 150 years gone already. Whether you're Hindu, Muslim or Christian, let's walk this hand in hand. We could only prosper if we try. A Jahaji pie. Brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji pie. Brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji pie. Kumaye, Zimbabwe. Kumaye, Zimbabwe. money, you go see a man in a dhoti saying he prays in front of a
I love this one.
then and only then you'll understand what is a cosmopolitan nation. There's no room for prejudice at all. United we stand, divided we fall. So to always is here in Bebo, Apokanyano Danyaho. Let us live as one under the sky. Jahajin high.
Apko Kalyanho Danyaho means may you be blessed, may you prosper. Come now, man, Brother Marvin. God reached down and touched you to write that song. I just love how the background people, what they're singing in that verse is so moving. And it's Apko Kalyanho Danyaho, may you be blessed, may you prosper. I love that. Let us live as one under the sky, as Jahaji Bai. Brotherhood of the boat, Jahaji Bai. It come down to we. And it must be we. You know what we fighting?
Hey!
When they fight,
Here we go!
Why did she hold it like that? And why did she hold it like that? The whole country in a hole, everything out of control.
What is?
Why did she hold it like that?
Check it out! 9 o'clock in the morning. 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 9 o'clock counting down. And no food in the pot. Why? There's a flood on the road. 9 o'clock in the day. You can't see your way. Why? Organized crime. It's organized crime. Everywhere you turn. Crime and more crime. White collar crime. Blue collar crime. No collar crime. We're running out of time.
Why did she hold it like that? And why did she hold it like that? The whole country in a hole, everything out of control. Why did she hold it like that?
There we go now. 9 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock in the morning.
So today, Satish told me, because he called me to tell me that somebody is going to be interviewing Tony and they wanted some questions to lash him with. And I told Satish exactly how Satish was feeling, because Satish said he agreed with me, that to tell the person, Anthony has left this party, he is in another party, he has moved on, we wish him well. The Progressive Empowerment Party has a lot of work to do, and we're busy with that. The only people that have lashed the fare from we is those who are actually in public office right now, drawing salaries that are supposed to be serving the people. If you're there and you ain't doing the job, plenty lash coming your way. But others expressing their political choice, please, I am the greatest champion of you expressing your political choice. I may not have liked the way it happened, but things happen to teach us lessons, and we learn, and that is life. For all of it, for the eternity of it, we learn, and we become the best that we could. And that's what that's my personal journey, to be a better me today than I was yesterday. And the we that we are in the Progressive, because let me tell you something now, no party is attacked like we are. The PNM and the UNC attack us more than they attack each other, because they're both fearful for what we symbolize. You see, the Progressive Empowerment Party don't have to win an elections to change this country, you know, because others are seeing that you can be courageous, you can be strong, you can stand together, you can speak truth to power, you can stand up and fight for a better country, and they are growing in consciousness, awareness, and courage. Not only that, videos like these are educating, informing, and empowering. I've lost sight. I've lost count, not sight. I see clearly. I've lost count of the amount of messages I get that tells me, Mr. Man, I learned more in an hour of your video than I learned in years in school. Our nip and fluff education needs to change. Our nip and fluff education needs to change. John Bull, an Englishman, that the Students' Companion needs updating. We need a better education that is more current. We need to teach our people how to function in the real world. They need to understand how the world works. And that is the single most, you see, our education system has been co-opted and turned into preparation for jobs. And that's not what it's for. Education is preparation for life. Job is part of that. The idea that you must have your children choosing what they're going to do with the rest of their lives at 10 and 11 is criminally obscene. We need to get to a place where we respect our children's rights to be children. A progressive empowerment party government education system. The curriculum would remove homework from children under the age of 12. There's no reason for it. And all the things that they learn will include things like manners and morals and how to get along socially. And D. De La Rosa says, I want 2 teas and a mug. D, if you could do me a favor, DD, sorry, if you could do me a favor and look for Debbie Lee Jaikaran on my friends list, or Sati Shamsaran, Felicia Holder, or any of the usual suspects, or any of the people posting pep stuff on the wall, you'll see a name, Hadassah Charles McLeod. Just click on their name and just tell them that same message. But somebody will see it and probably reach out to you because they hear it. We call their name, so people calling one another say, hey, your name getting called. But just reach out to anybody else, somebody will come and take care of them. A better country should be all our collective goal. And the only way we're going to do that is if we face up to the truth of what has been done to us, all of us, for the last, 58 years. Could you give them any chance? Could you give them any leeway? Could you say the first 10 years? I don't know. Because by 1970, Eric Williams would have had control of Trinidad and Tobago for 8 years. By 1970, when the Black Power movement started in the world, the PNM should have transitioned Black Trinbagonians into positions where they could springboard into a greater life. The Black Power movement marched against Eric Williams. All the state of emergency and all the police and the lockup and all that crap. Yeah. This song is a dog whistle to UNC, you know. When UNC hear this song, they just think, aha, think to thief.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can protect our country's fate. Move and use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, well, be on a doubt. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is they prove it to be your sinful amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out.
This is an important announcement. I have to interrupt this song to read this. They convened a panel of medical doctors to ask about opening the economy. The allergists were in favor of scratching it, but dermatologists advised not to make any rash moves. Gastroenterologists had sort of a gut feeling about it, but neurologists thought the administration had a lot of nerve. Obstetrician felt certain everyone was laboring under a misconception, while ophthalmologists considered the idea short-sighted. Many pathologists yelled over my dead body, while pediatricians said, oh, grow up. Psychiatrists thought the whole idea was madness when radiologists could see right through it. Surgeons decided to wash their hands of the whole thing, and internists claimed it would indeed be a bitter pill to swallow. Plastic surgeons opined that this proposal would put a whole new face on the matter. Podiatrists thought it was a step forward, but urologists were pissed off at the whole idea. Anesthesiologists thought the whole idea was a gas, and those lofty cardiologists didn't have the heart to say no. We close with a joke tonight. The Progressive Empowerment Party needs your help. We need your volunteers. We need your assistance. We need you sharing this video. Melissa Sarah just messaged me and said, I love this version of Philip. And I want to tell Melissa this is the version of Philip I am. But what gets me 1 million views is when I get on like a Janet. Maya Ramran said she heard that joke already, but I apologize. I'll bring new ones from tomorrow. Tim Gopi saying now send me that joke. Tim is out of politics, yes. Listen, we need your help, eh? And I want to say, spread the word, spread the message. Inculcate in Trinbagonians the need for us to come together and do better to get better. If we've had 58 years of bacchanal blame and excuses, come on. At some point, even the most abused person realizes that the person I am giving my time and life and love to is the reason I am living in misery. The oppressor doesn't need your vote. The rescuer does. The Progressive Empowerment Party has mounted a rescue in Trinidad and Tobago. We need your help. We need donations. Right now, tonight, some of you were so moved by this show tonight and loved the things I said. And some of you, like Maya, really enjoyed that joke. So what you have to do is make a donation. Make a donation. Message Felicia Holder, 769-4590. Call Felicia Holder. Message her. Message on the wall. Send me a private message. Make a donation. We want everything. $10, $100, $1,000, whatever you could afford. We need all of it. We're trying to raise money for an election, and it is important. The more you give is the more we do. It's like that. Yeah?
If it is the time is now that change must come about, just as how you put them in,
Put them on,
register and
put them on,
if they don't see,
put them on,
state your finger and
put them on,
show them no mercy,
put them on.
put them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country.
Now, I write things and then PNM and UNC people steal them, remove my name from them and share it as if it came from in one of those intellectually bankrupt crews. I wrote today, I don't know about white privilege, but there is privilege in Trinidad and Tobago. Privileges such as having basic needs met by government institutions, not suffering needless delays from government agencies, having access to foreign exchange, water in your pipes at least 3 times a week, being able to afford to go to private healthcare or to otherwise avoid the madness of public hospitals, having access to the back room at licensing office where transactions don't take you a week, favorable trader status at customs for clearing your goods, being able to put your actual address on job applications, knowing the number to call for the special ambulance service that actually arrives on time, knowing the minister's number to call and complain about instances where your privilege did not automatically kick in, being whisked to the bank manager's office for your transactions, having access to credit or finance, your children breezing through SCA because their name on the magic list, rolling past roadblocks as officers look in and nod, sidewalks in your communities instead of open drains or bush dirt on the side of the road, being able to close your community with a gate so undesirables don't use it as a shortcut, even though you're using everybody else's area as a shortcut or a place to open business or park trucks, shopping without checking price. You own a boat or have a friend with a boat. You only use the boat for fishing because it's a hobby. When you go DDI, no one complains about the noise or the wake from the boat you're on. You cuss about people getting HTC URP handouts while you live comfortably on state property you can sell for millions that you pay $100 a year to the state for. You complain about those people always looking for handouts while you are on your second grant, loan write-off, or financial support for development of business enterprise. Farmers cannot get an acre of land to plant, but you get in hundreds of acres to turn into housing or for upscale farming, wink wink, restaurant, entertainment center. NIPTEC lends you money and you never have to repay. State bails out your industry due to pandemic, so you end up turning a profit anyway. A lot on this list should be available to all. Why it isn't is the real question. Others on the list begs questions of their own. Make no mistake, every time there's a disagreement between people, issues such as race and class comes up, and the unevenness of our society again exposed. 58 years we have voted for the contract mafia through their political fronts, the PNM and the UNC. If you read this list and smiled, you might think everything's okay with TNT. If you didn't, check your voting. You may have been voting yourself your own misery.
Together again, put them out of power, so we deteriorate. Let's put our country together again.
It's getting late and I need to wrap up. I want to tell you one more thing, that I have made application. I should do a drum roll, or maybe I should wait till I get accepted. I'll wait till I get accepted. There's something I applied to that is going to, I didn't want to do it, but it's tertiary education to, applying to law school just to get the law degree. And if I do get it and I started, I want to tell you that if I do pursue it to the end, I want to be a human rights lawyer. I want to be Atticus Finch. You all ever read To Kill a Mockingbird? That book changed my worldview. I think every child should read To Kill a Mockingbird. It's really empowering. Derek Rodriguez says Trinidad is a narco state, and they just find soya pods shipped from Trinidad, wrapped cocaine, individual soya pods. If Trinidad is an narco state, the way we are, the way we want to be, depends so much on who we are. Yeah? And who we become, what we leave for our children. When I shuffle off this mortal coil, I want people to remember that when I was young, I partied hard. Hard. I remember, and I'm not sure why it happened, but there was a big fight in Panorama about 20 years ago, and it was our crew and the fire service and the fellas who were selling the beers in the buckets, and I know how it started. But we used to party hard, you know. One of my birthdays, I woke up, and I didn't know what country I was in, and I looked out a sliding window and saw a highway, and it was cold, and my breath was coming out as mist. And I was in Trinidad for my birthday, so I didn't know where I was. Thank God, that was the first time I ever went to Trin City. And I woke up in Trin City and I thought it was America. But we used to party very, very hard. I want to remember that because I have a lot of people that I bounce up all the time and they look at me and they smile. We all getting on in life. We have grays, all on we beard. But we can still laugh that we had fun as young people. I also want people to remember that with the second half of my life, I gave everything I had to try and change this world. And I want to be an example, not only to my children, but to everybody else. I am proud that I could quote my father, and my mother too, but my mother has been my example. My father is the voice in my head. And I'm happy that I could continuously quote him on a daily basis, the message that he gave me, and I hope that I've been successful in passing it on by word and by deed. I am by no stretch of the imagination a perfect person, and I never said so. But I am committed to this course of action, and I will see it through, come hell or high water. We deserve a better country for us to grow old in and for our children to play and enjoy. And I want that. I want that. I want it very, very much, and I'm willing to work with anybody who wants that too. And I say this again, emotional intelligence means I will work with anybody. I may not like you, but if I believe that you are good for the cause and that you will assist in what we're doing, I'll work with you. So, anybody who is interested in picking up the phone and calling Phillip and saying, listen, alright, let's bury the hatchet, I have a shovel. My number is 682-2110. Those of you who are not yet on the WhatsApp list and you would like to be on the WhatsApp list, 682-2110, WhatsApp me your name. Don't call me and tell me your name. Don't text me and tell me your name. Don't WhatsApp me from one number and tell me, put it that one. It's a lot of work. It's a manual thing. To those of you, and there have been a lot of you that have sent your message in already, don't send it again. It will be done. It's just be busy. But if you've never sent a WhatsApp to 682-2110 to say add you to the broadcast list, I'll tell you why to add yourself to the broadcast list. It is to protect us and all of our followers in case anything happened to any of our platforms. We need to be able to redirect everybody. So, going forward, help us. Help us. All of us together, one people under one flag. We have an intention. We have a drive. Check us. Measure us on our the totality of our track record. Measure us in our plans, measure us in our intentions, measure us on the work that we've done. Look at us. Don't judge us by our weakest link. As Khalil Gibran said, that is like measuring the power of the ocean by the frailty of its foam. Until tomorrow, stay safe. Trinidad and Tobago.